Hello. How are you doing? Well, it's a beautiful day out there today in the southern UK, in the New Forest of England, and I'm very happy to be here and to see you. So, any questions? Please stick them in the chat. I will keep an eye on them. The oil rigs, like the oil rigs that you're seeing on the last couple of streams on the thumbnail, are actually the very specific photographs that I'm looking at to be the artwork, to be the basis for the artwork of the thing that I'm recording. Let's switch the machine on actually, because I will doubtless have things to show you if you want to have a listen to stuff. Yeah, today was full of snap strings and many the challenge, but I did get the chance to speak to the fine Dennis Lowe today. That was very pleasant. If you're a follower of mine on Facebook, you'd have definitely come across Dennis Lowe when I did the Havana, and like a lot of content, you know, on this channel has come from gigs at the Havana and stuff, and Dennis was always one of the highlights there. But it was really good to speak to my old friend today, and if you're out there watching now, bless you, sir. It was good to tell you all about this. So if you've been following on from last week, you'll know about this flamenco guitar. 2,250 quid's worth of 1978 Manuel Raimundo 145 Negra, and I have been enjoying it. I've even been like writing the odd thing. I don't know if you saw, but in the last stream I showed you how I made my own fret marker with a permanent marker, because this is a player's guitar. You know, this isn't a pose machine, and you know, I am that bad. I am that dumb. None of us are perfect. I didn't really want to do it. Like, who wants to? But it's like, what else do I do? I mean, I could get a dot put in one day, but I just need that 7th fret marked. You know, I know where the 12th is. You know, I know that it's there. You know, so I can always find that, and so like I can find the rest of the way up the fretboard from the 12th and sort of there to it. But just having that 7th just makes it so much easier. Frankly, I can't live without it. And I have to say, if I ever get a guitar like custom built for me, it will only have those 2 fret markers. It will have the 7th and the 12th. So it will be 24 frets. So you'd have, you know, your 7th and your 12th and your 19th and your 24th, I guess. I was working on something. I've been working on something. as I say, it's a work in progress. But yeah, I've been getting comfortable on this wonderful guitar. I'm really starting to appreciate what it's all about now. You know, the way that it's just, you know, any of you out there are welcome to play this guitar at any point. Let's see who's in the chat here. Dennis, it's Dennis. Well, as it's you, and I've got the guitar in my hands. In the lazy water meadow, I will lay you down. All around us, golden sunlight, the leaves all around. Misty morning, gentle winds and gentle stirring sounds. Like the golden silence that lays all around. Hear the lark and hearken to the barking of the dog fox on the ground. See the flashing of the kingfisher splash into the water. And a river of green is sliding unseen beneath the trees. Nothing as it passes through the endless summer sailing for the sea. And a river of green is sliding unseen beneath the trees. Laughing as it passes through the endless summer sailing for the sea. There you go, Dennis. And bear in mind that that's very much like a person's interpretation of Grantchester Meadows, having loved it and listened to it over and over and over and over and over again, but then not owning it and being out in the wilderness for a few years and working out from memory. So it's not right. Don't like look at the chords and think they'll be remotely. It's like an impression. It's like an impersonation of Grantchester Meadows. There's nothing accurate about that. It's purely my take on it. Let me look at the technique. No worries, Dennis. It's fucking my pleasure, mate. My pleasure. I've been meaning to do it on this guitar since I got it because I thought because you asked for it and you mentioned it. I think you asked for it on the last stream, and I didn't see it until after. And when I got this, I thought, oh, like Grantchester Meadows. It's a very sweet sound. Last look at the rosewood and the fine workery, and good to see you, Angela. Glad you're feeling better today. Glad you're here. But what a wicked piece of luck. But no, I'm happy to play that track. It's always a bit of a challenge to play that and sing it at the same time. But it was something that I love so much, and it just gave me immense satisfaction to try, to sort of work that one out. There's a few tracks that I really enjoy listening to so much, and I have to work them out, and I end up doing it in a way and I end up I work it out, and I think that's bang on, and then I sort of hear it, and I see the tablature on the music in the book, and I say I'm nothing like it. Hey Sandra, good to see you. Sorry your podcast got cancelled the other night. I hope there's no there's no shitty reason for that. I hope everything's cool and whatnot. But good to see you there. Good to see people about. I'm thinking I love like the old Delta blues, so I'm going to put this into a Delta G tune. Something I've really always tried to get is like a real a specific that blues sound, the real Delta sound. It's so hard to achieve. They have and I don't mean it in any way insultingly, but like a primitive attack of the guitar, and it's really difficult to emulate, and nearly every white player that tries is just too neat and tidy, and unfortunately no matter how hard I try, I fall into that category. But crawling king thing and roll of my den. I'm a crawling king thing and roll of my den. Gonna do what I want to, gonna kill the dirty groundhog. Gonna do what I want to, gonna kill the dirty groundhog.
That'll do. Whew. Oh, well, it's beautiful weather here in the New Forest in southern England. Cup of Earl Grey tea. This is the perfect English list. Trick to go play outside, that's true. So, there was a revolution. I completely forgot to talk about this last week, and I put it in the title header, which is why I did it this week. MTV Unplugged, was a revolution. One in particular, a couple that caught, the Eric Clapton one was massive. That was massive. Everybody saw that. But also huge was the best one of all time. The most unique one, the most creative one, and the one that's just dated marvelously, and that's this one. Nirvana Unplugged, MTV Unplugged. What a set. When you've got Sonic Youth sat in the audience with their jaws hanging down, you know you're looking at something special, and what they did, what MTV did really, and by getting the happening acts, by not looking, but by being ignorant in a way, because who the fuck would put Nirvana on Unplugged? There's a band that when I'm emulating that sort of music, I'm riding on feedback fucking 70% of the time, and I do not exaggerate. You're using that element of the electric guitar, which is feeding back with the speakers, which is mad and mental, and totally, sounds like electricity. It is the sound of an electric guitar over an acoustic one. You're a million miles from Hank Marvin or Buddy Holly. You're into the territories that Jimi Hendrix scraped. His reaching style of guitar playing touched on grunge, and you can hear that filth, pure, totally overdriven. And it's a sound that we've all come, I think all guitarists that are real good guitarists have come to appreciate what grunge is all about. But yeah, for me, I'm 47 now, so grunge was very much my wheelhouse. And grunge and rave, I saw that. But when they did the Unplugged thing, that is a magical gig. It's like watching him play his own wake. He's got these fucking white lilies on the stage, but he does hold it together. Now, I've heard all sorts of stories, conflicting stories about, he was really loaded, and no, he was practically clucking. He was on he had methadone, and all sorts of stuff. But whatever he was fully in the moment there, and it's
that's one of the finest performances ever put to any kind of like record. I'm not a massive Nirvana fan. I don't own any of the albums. Well, not now anyway. But like that DVD, I do own about 30 music DVDs, and this is probably my favorite one, but they're not my favorite band. But this is something else. You know, that is a great performance of all time. And something is, the thing is, it shouldn't have worked. Going in, it's like MTV, like they laugh. MTV approached me, offered them a lot of money to do this unplugged, and like, how the fuck are we going to do this? But they did it, and they had a few rehearsals in New York, and then went and filmed it. It was all done in a real compressed timescale. They were touring, they were playing electric, and then they just literally came and interpreted it unplugged, like on the fly, like a couple of days rehearsing it, and then filmed it, like in New York, and it's incredible. And but they capture something. But there's that thing when he does Where Did You Sleep Last Night? Oh, I can't remember. But there's the one that he does, and it's like he's giving his last breath. Like he really puts. It's a great performance. But anyway, that suddenly made it okay to play these things, and there was a massive resurgence of interest in doing it this live. And the technology spike to go with it. I mean, what Kurt Cobain himself was using was quite old tech when it comes to playing an acoustic on stage. But you know, it's like old school Bartolini pickup system. It was very unacoustic. But yeah, it suddenly made it kind of cool, and everybody then, like the MTV. That little period of time, there was like a few years where MTV was just commissioning these unplugged sets and releasing the video, and it was like that was a high point. Like every band started doing it. Bands I worked for, as crew, did it. But it got me re-engaged with the whole thing, because it was like, yeah, I learned on an acoustic, but it's like as soon as I got into electric playing, it fell by the wayside. Now, it wasn't until much later on, and all my attention was on my electric stuff, kind of like it is now. And but I had a few tunes that I'd written on an acoustic, and somebody I was touring with, I was the monitor engineer, and they were like, dude, that's like fucking really good. And I was like, oh, I've got a few of these, and he wasn't really interested in the electric stuff. The acoustic stuff, he really did think that I had something and expressed as much. And then he started telling people about it. It's like, hey, you should listen to this dude. And it quite often put me in front of somebody and put a guitar in my hand, like a nice guitar. And that's what made me realize. And so then I started to try and make more acoustic songs. And I got tried out as a support act. And yeah, like it was great, and I should have stuck with it, but it's like, I then joined Stone Cold, which is my biggest regret. But I love that band, huge fan, love everybody involved in that, but that was a big mistake for me. But I went on about this last time. I'm talking shit like a fucking has-been. Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. Then, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, and I didn't think of Sheeran, so that's well put. Yeah, like it did. It really reinvigorated the whole unplugged thing. I mean, you had the levelers and whatnot. There were, but that was all kind of in the same. That was all in the same zeitgeist, in the same very much at the same time. But as soon as the levelers had actual money, the gimmick wore off straight away, and they all plugged into electric guitars, and they were suddenly not as good. But yeah. This was a really great guitar as well. Like, I mean, I can't believe I walked past it not noticing it was an electro quite a few times. But I like it subtly, but it sounds great. But yeah, so you got things like the rare earth pickup came out, and you know that was basically a revolutionary object. You know, you could just fit this pickup in, and you could get the sound of an actual acoustic. Yeah, shorthand for authenticity. Yeah, it is. It really does mean we're going to have a more sort of theatre setting. You're going to sit down. You're going to shut up, okay? And I'm going to sit down, and like we're you know we're going to say we're going to turn the amps off, but that's the last thing we're going to do. There is nothing unplugged about an unplugged gig. That's so funny. Like a genuinely unplugged gig, that's busking basically, or like I am now playing in a room. When you're playing like 1-to-1, like in a small room, you could, but like there's nothing unplugged about it. And it's actually harder than playing electric, and that's why, like Dennis, you were there. Like that time I did the gig with the Strat, and I did the I used the modeling on that, the modeling engine on that. It's got a brilliant acoustic simulator, and I used it for that. And I've got more now. I've got like more acoustic simulators and better modeling, and well, actually, that's debatable because although this is getting on for like 15 years old now, this device. But it's still like really like way out there. Like there's it's not lacking in anything. It's an incredible standalone device. It's just as a one person, you know, if you're a guitarist and you want to like record some music, this is fucking amazing. You know, so all you like, you've got the most massive like modeling engine in there, so you can just plug your guitar straight in. You know, you've got like things for like Walkman batteries. You can put like a few Walkman batteries and run it portable. And it's got a built-in stereo mic that's like really high quality. I mean, it's Roland at its finest. And how they've managed to cram so many features in so few buttons, it does mean you spend a lot of time on that little orange window going through options menus. It's tedium, but the fact is, if you can see in your mind the capabilities of the machine, it's like, well, fuck me, that's actually keeping up with like anything really. And you've got these things called virtual tracks, so I can like use the 8 tracks and then just bounce them down into 1/8 of one of the tracks. So you've got like hundreds of tracks. I mean, it's crazy, but you obviously can do a few at once. But I'm still getting to grips with that. It's like when I first got the manual, and it's like 300 odd pages. You know, it's a phone book, right? And I thought, oh yeah, you know, that would be the 6 different languages. No, that's the English manual. It's insane. It's easy to get started, but there's just so much capability when you dig. The other day I found out that there's a fucking a 101, a 303, and an 808 all built into this device. You know, like obviously you won't have like the hands-on control, but you know, you can like program it. It's in there. And I've never even got to that. Like I was looking at how you can revoice the drum kits in there. That's how I found that. It was crazy shit. I had no idea about that. So yeah, right, you know, MTV, they did us a great favor, and they caught these wonderful performances. The Clapton performance is great. You know, it's hard to know, and everybody does it now. It's like like the unplugged thing. It's but yeah, that's kind of where I live, and I feel really comfortable there. I feel like I'm carving out my own little thing. Like it's not derivative of anyone else. I'm not worried about people like nicking my songs, because it's like, you know, in fairness, if you can play it, like, you crack on, because it's like fucking. Sometimes I write stuff I can't play, and I have to like literally climb up to be able to fucking play what I've written. And you know, I know how many hours, like I know how many literally thousands of hours have gone into these songs. And like, I'm not saying they're great or anything like that, but I've done my best. And you couldn't call me a lazy songwriter. It's like, you know, it's like, I think even this is what, like, how come, because like I've done well at every gig I've ever done. It's like, you know, I've never, you know, even, and it's like when you get gigs where there's only like 4 people there, like, they're the tough ones, because, you know, when there's like 100, 400, 1,000 more like people in an audience, you've got it on your side. you know, you've got the audience, you've got a kind of bias to make you work because everybody's there to have a good time. So they want you to do well. Get me? Like, because they want to have a good time. So really, what they you know, they've probably paid like to get in, and it's like, yeah, they want to have a good time. So like, it's in your favour. Now, when they come for free, and there's like 2 or 3 of them, they're fucking dead. Like, what's in it? You know, why would they want to like you? It's harder audience to win, and I've never had a trouble with that. And it's like, I think even people that don't like my music, at least kind of acknowledge it's all right though. Like, you know, it's like, so I feel secure enough in my ability to like write and to perform, to just, you know, to live there and just do it, and just, you know, whatever comes along comes along. It's like, I'm going to be doing it either way. It's like, you know, so yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. All the chips are in. Okay, thanks for dropping in, Sandra, and I'll definitely catch the podcast. It's been great. I would never go to that bloody hotel. Hang on, don't tell me. Stanley Hotel. Bloody never. That place is awful. Creepy as hell. But yeah, thanks so much for dropping in, and be safe, and blessings to you and yours. But yeah, it's like, you know, it's I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing. It's like, you know, it's like I'm enjoying doing it. You know, I've got a long way to go. I've got a long way to go to get the metal stuff sounding good, because it's like I am all in now on doing this, like, you know, doing the 2-disc. You know, it's going to have the full rock band side, the full rock band disc, and the unplugged disc, and do it like as a vinyl and as a gatefold, and yeah, you know, charge a lot of money for the vinyl and give the CDs away for free. Like, I just don't care. Just give it away. Like, just get it out there. It's like, I just have to get it done. You know, it's like, and I really, you know, I'm as happy as I'm ever likely to be right now. You know, it's like, it's not good. It wouldn't make any difference to my emotional state. You know, what more money is more hassle. You know, that's the sad truth of it. It's more hassle. You know, I'm exactly where I want to be. Like, just doing my music, you know, and stuff. And there's just more, you know, more. I've got to continue with the other arts. Slowly, I'll get there. It's God, I've got a funny feeling right in my chest at the minute. Give me 1 second. Just carry on playing guitar, eh? So anyone who owns one of these, there's a tip that I want to give, and it's in the setup. It's in the setup of the thing, and that is, every time you switch it on, okay, go into edit. This is really for Mark if he's watching. So go into edit, okay, and then go to the global setting, which is like, this is what sort of like thing you're putting it in, whether it's line or whether it's this or that type of amp, and get that right. So work out whether, like, you know, you like A1 or A2, or which one of the settings that you like. There's 4 settings, and set your volume so that it's consistent across the board. And go through, okay, and then switch edit off. Go back to where you were. Okay, every time you switch it on, make sure you set it up. It's like a conditioning thing. Make sure your global settings. Do that first and beyond all other things. 4 people in a room with a tadpole guitar. Isn't it, Phil? Me, barging in. Off you go. It is. That's the thing. Yeah, you've got me back on track. It's like, you know, when there's like 4 fucking people at the gig, it's hard to get them all to like it. If you can get 100% of that audience to be into it, and, you know, to like it, that's all right. That's you doing well. I think, because it's like, and when there's, yeah, like 400 people, like, yeah, like, it's kind of pre-wired that they want to have a good time, so it's easier to get like 100% of the room to like it. It's a strange one. So yeah, there's no shame in those, you know, pathetic fucking gigs. I've done too many of them, and not enough of the other kind. I think I'm lucky I've had a taste. I mean, to be honest. Uh, Alrighty. Let's have a bit of something 80s hair metal. Hang on. Set up.
Oh, it's good to see you all. Right. So yeah, like MTV Revolution. It was. I kind of was making a point. I can't really remember what it is now. And the other thing, Shane asked me about like, how do you stop a Strat from going out of tune, like it without using like a whole the whole locking nut and all that shebangles like you have with the Floyd Rose. So basically, like a Jimi Hendrix Strat. Well, you have the same problem as Jimi Hendrix. As it goes, Shane, I can tell you exactly what I do with mine. Now, there's two philosophies. Like on this one, basically, like that nut is cut, so there's like it's not a lubricated thing, right? Like it's the string like has to sort of through there. Okay, it's gripped quite tight by quite a tight fitting nut. And so I can use the whammy bar gently without going out of tune. The other way to do it is to really go lubricate it, like, so have a really loose nut so the strings slip in and out, okay, and just have a really good set of tuners that work really well. And, just use like rollers. Don't like these string trees are a fucking nightmare. Like I'm having real trouble on the other Strat on the new one. Like I've got to do something about that. This one's not so much a problem, but you still have to tap one end or the other to it's like they get caught up. One side of the string tree's under more tension than the other. It happens a lot. But you can't really dive bomb with one of these trem systems. You can't really use it like a Floyd Rose. Like Jimi Hendrix did, and he went massively out of tune. Now, I'll tell you what, Shane, I'll tell you how you do it. You do what Jimi Hendrix did, and you just practice the ass off of the dive bombing technique, how to deal with the recovery. So you'll learn, like Jimmy learned, like quite quick, right down, and then it's like, I know I'm going to have to take the G string at least a step and a half to 2 steps up. All right? Like that's how you'll get. Once you fucking put enough hours on the fretboard doing that dive bomb and coming back, and you just have to learn how to react to that quickly. Jimi Hendrix did that really well, so he just go and he was back in tune again. And he demonstrated that time after time live. So there really is no technical solution. I've done my best with this very specific setup for very specific gauge of strings, and it's not ideal. It's far from ideal. I don't recommend it, but it does work. And it gives me that sort of like, the Hank Marvin, the vibrato-esque, style of whammy. Because that's what I really do. With a trad Strat, I get it here on my elbow. I like a nice long whammy bar. I actually really like the one you get on the bass 6, the Fender bass 6. It's like longer. And I sit it on my elbow, and it's like, and I sort of like do that. So it's like, but I really only use it for vibrato. But mine generally doesn't go out of tune because I actually have a nippy nut. And I do know that's a solution a lot of players use. But it's not ideal. I don't recommend it. But it does work. Yeah, for one reason or another, my heart rate's getting a bit quick, and I'm going to have a lie down. Like nothing too big
concerned about, but I'm getting like odd little twinges, and that's unusual. I've been really good for fucking ages, so I'm gonna be cautious because I have been really well, and I think I'm just yammering on too much, too animated or whatever. And I've been playing guitar all day. I haven't done fuck all else. And I haven't eaten yet either. Like, my breakfast is still sat there under tin foil, so I should eat and relax. But I might come back in a bit. Oh, I've done like 50 minutes. No, it's not like I've done 50 minutes. I've done 50 minutes. And I've answered the things that I wanted to answer. So that's for Shay. Yeah, it's like, okay. I mean, I'll just relax with you for a bit. You're all right, and you're here. But now I'll go and lie down. I will catch you next time. I'm going to do a Gorilla Gig podcast later tonight, if all things being well. But I'll be sure to I'll comment in here. I'll comment below. Yeah, when I come back, or I'll post another stream or something. But yeah, I'll be alright. I just need to have a lie down, to be honest. And so I'll see you in a bit. Thanks so much for coming along. And I will come back in a bit.